You think you know China, the world's factory, churning out billions of cheap plastic goods. But that's just the front end. It's time to look at the back end. Welcome to the world's most ambitious infrastructure project.
Stereotype number one. China is just a place where things are made cheaply. This myth is outdated. While the world focuses on the Made in China label, the country has evolved into something far more powerful. China is no longer just the factory. It is becoming the manager of the global supply chain. From the ports of Piraeus in Greece to the railways in East Africa, China isn't just selling products, it's selling the very systems that allow trade to happen. But here is the real question. When a single entity owns the roads, the ports, and the digital networks of multiple continents, who is really in charge? Is China merely a trading partner, or is it installing a new operating system for the global economy, one where they hold the administrator password? Look at the Belt and Road Initiative. To most, it looks like a series of construction projects. To an analyst, it's a logistical octopus. China is strategically buying or building the world's most critical choke points. By owning the ports, they don't just control the ships, they control the data, the timing, and the flow of goods. If you control the port, you control the city. If you control the city, you control the region. This is debt trap diplomacy in action. China offers massive loans to developing nations to build infrastructure they can't afford. When the country defaults, China doesn't ask for the money back, they ask for the asset. A 99-year lease on a strategic port is more valuable than any amount of cash. But it's not just about concrete and steel. The digital Silk Road is the next layer. 5G towers, surveillance systems, and payment gateways. China is building a digital layer over the physical one, creating a seamless loop where everything, from a container of sneakers to a digital payment, runs on Chinese hardware. How did they move from a closed agrarian society to this global behemoth? The secret was a corporate-style pivot in the late 70s. Deng Xiaoping realized that the state couldn't do everything, so he created special economic zones. These were essentially corporate sandboxes where capitalism was allowed to run wild, provided it served the national interest. China didn't just join the global market, it merged with it. They invited the West to build their factories, but they demanded a trade-off: technology transfer. You can sell here, but only if you teach us how to build it. This was the greatest technology heist in history. Over decades, China absorbed the knowledge of the West and used it to upgrade its own operating system. They moved from assembling toys to designing the chips that power the world.
But what powers this relentless expansion? In Russia, it was oil. In Brazil, it was land. In China, the fuel is hyper-efficiency and absolute social coordination. The engine is the 996 culture, working 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. This is a workforce treated like a precision instrument in a giant machine. But the real software of the system is the social credit system. This isn't just about surveillance, it's about optimizing the population. By rewarding correct behavior and punishing errors, the state creates a low-friction society where the corporate goals of the government are executed with zero resistance. This is the social operating system. The state acts as the CEO, the party as the board of directors, and the citizens as the employees. Efficiency is the only metric that matters.
But the operating system is facing a critical update. The West is now trying to firewall China, restricting chips and AI technology. So how does the corporation respond? By building a parallel universe. China is creating an entirely separate tech stack, their own chips, their own OS, and a digital ecosystem like WeChat and Alipay that replaces almost every other app. They aren't just competing in the global market, they are building a market where the West is no longer needed. This is digital sovereignty. By exporting this system to other countries in the global south, China is creating a block of nations that run on the same hardware and software. It's a La Vie en Rose for the digital Silk Road, a world where the US dollar and American servers are simply optional.
If you look at China as a country, you see a complex mix of ancient culture and modern authoritarianism. But if you look through the lens of business, you see the most successful infrastructure company in history. China isn't just a state, it's a global brand for scale, speed, and connectivity. Every time a port in Africa expands or a 5G network goes live in Southeast Asia, they are installing a piece of the Chinese corporate architecture. Just like Dubai and Russia, the goal is power through dependency. But China's bet is bigger. They aren't just selling a resource, they are selling the system that manages the resources. The vulnerability? The system is overheating. A crashing real estate market, a shrinking population, and a world that is finally starting to fear the administrator. The question is, can the global operating system survive a system crash? Or will the world find a way to reboot without it?